Hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. UFC 305 Fight Week is here and I've joined with some lovely, passionate fans in the building. To my right, this is where I get this messed up. To my that way is Leo Cooper. There you go. That's just easier to do it that way. This chap right here, Red Wolf MMA in the house, and then there we go. We got we got T in the house as well, other known as Canadian Bacon, friend and of course employee of the Against the Fence channel. How are we all doing? Are we all pumped for this upcoming fight card?
I don't want to be a downer, but not really, you know.
Oh,
I don't know, man. It hasn't got the magic.
no,
I don't think the main card's that good, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for the main event. I think Dricus du Plessis Adesanya is always going to be a fun matchup. I think anyone that fights Dricus is just innately going to be interesting because no one fights like him. So stylistically, I'm always excited for it. But yeah.
all right, okay. Now to kickstart the show, then tonight, I've got a little trivia for you guys, which I left out of the show notes, so you all got to see the show notes apart from the trivia question. And I'm wondering who is able to get this right. Israel Adesanya has the chance to become a 3-time champion in the same division, which many few have had the opportunity to do and have achieved. Who was the first person to become a 3-time champion in the UFC?
No one's done it, no?
Was it Randy?
I was gonna say Randy Couture, but yeah, I don't think anyone's done it, no?
It is in fact Randy Couture.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. I'll give that to you then. Yeah.
So well done, chaps at the bottom there. Yes, that's right. Randy Couture in the heavyweight division quite early on in his MMA career. In fact, people who have obviously come close, have won it twice in their divisions are John Jones, GSP, Matt Hughes, Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, Davison Figueiredo, Weili Zhang, Cain Velasquez, and Stipe Miocic. Bosh.
That's a list, isn't it?
So there's a little trivia to open things up for you guys. All right,
that's good.
So
that's a good question.
Guys, some of you might not know how this show operates, but later on we'll be doing a bit of a raise your hand type scenario. I'll explain it a little bit later on when it comes to getting your picks and answering some of the questions that I've got for you guys. But first off, what we kind of usually ask the MMA community this sort of time of week of a pay-per-view week is for their ratings for the upcoming pay-per-view main card. So I'll start with Red Wolf first. What would you rate this overall card out of 10?
Don't feel it. A high 7, low 8 at the minute.
Okay.
But I don't know. It might grow within the week. I think a few people I've seen are talking about it, saying the hype isn't there just yet. It's like we don't know where it's at. Like, is he coming back to try and reclaim gold?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? Maybe later on in the week we'll get a bit more hyped up, but for now I'm feeling high 7, low 8.
Okay. No, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, on Twitter at the moment, because we usually put it out every single week, we've had some 7s, we've had some 6s in the building. Leo, what would you give it?
I'm feeling a 6, maybe a 5. I don't know. Thing is, I feel like that's going to bite me in the arse when I say that. Do you know what I mean? Because, we just said earlier that, the worst cards on paper always end up being the best. And that could definitely be the case. I think matchup-wise, I think they're really fun. I'll say that. Taito Uvasa, Jairzinho, Rosenstruck is a great fight. If we're just talking strictly the main card, I think stylistically they're all pretty fun. But in terms of name value, I wouldn't say they're at the top level of a pay-per-view could be. Do you know what I mean? But I love Steve Ursa, Kai Kara France. I think that's an awesome fight. That's probably my favorite fight on that card. Of course, Dan Hooker as well. He's always fun to watch. But yeah, I've got mixed feelings on it. But I'm going to tune in. I'm not going to be disingenuous and do a strike or anything like that. I'm going to tune in and I'll try my best to enjoy it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I kind of thought this as well. Same. I think, name value on paper is not particularly that great. But when you actually look at the matchups that are there themselves, they are very intriguing. So it could boost your ratings a little bit. T, what do you reckon then? What's your rating?
I'll start off by saying I think for Australian fans and people from New Zealand, it's got to be a high 8 for them. It's just the amount of talent that they specifically have on this card obviously brings a large amount of interest for those types of people. Otherwise, though, I'm going to have to go between Leo and Red Wolf, and I'm going to say probably a 7.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong, as I said to you earlier, JK, as a lot of people say, the hype has kind of left this fight, but if they can reignite that same animosity that they had in the cage, then I do believe that, it could really pick up for this week.
Oh, absolutely, and actually chiming in there, he also says a very low 7 as well. So, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, guys. Awesome, thanks for your ratings. Also, want to know, kind of, is there like a prelim that catches your eye this coming weekend that you most looking forward to? Just to name a few at the moment, you got Junior Tuffer versus Volta Walker. Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos, Casey O'Neill versus Trezor Blader, Jack Jenkins versus Herbert Burns. You've got Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes, Son Canon, Ricky Glenn, and Stuart Nicol versus Jesus Aguilar. So, any of them stick out?
Well, the O'Neill fight is not Blazers now; it's Santos.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? I should stop looking at UFC.com.
Yeah, UFC hasn't even caught up on that. They haven't even changed it on their official website.
Wikipedia. I always use Wikipedia. Why I had that window up for a second, I don't know. Wikipedia is the same
Fatal mistake.
That made me think then. I was like, hang on a minute, what's going on there? So, but yeah, that one is interesting for a couple of reasons. But I do like the Culibao and the Ramos fight. That looks
that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
Great fight. That and Jack Jenkins. Sorry.
Yeah, literally, that's what I was about to say. Herbert and Jenkins, that'll be a slugfest, I think. That'll be good.
Okay. Out of all the fights overall, though, guys, what do you think your fight of the night is going to be? Like, what's the one that's got it written all over?
Oh, I think Gamrot Hooker's got potential there.
Oh, I know what you're thinking about.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Gamrot and Hooker. Yeah, two elite strikers and really good chins as well. So they're gonna go at it.
Yeah.
With you guys saying that, I guess I will say Tai Tuivasa versus Rosenstruik, just because Rosenstruik's not looking to wrestle; he's looking to strike, and Tai Tuivasa has I believe 4 losses in a row currently.
Yep.
So he's going to come out desperately. It is going to be violent. And it's basically a guaranteed finish, in my opinion. I would be devastatingly surprised if that fight went to the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would it could set a precedent to a very bad pay-per-view if that one was to go to the distance as well.
I'm not blaming the gloves. If that doesn't get a finish, there's something up with them gloves.
I mean, I did a short on it the other day. I did feel like there's something there,
Exactly, man. Exactly.
20 KOs via punches out of 121.
Which is brutal.
Man. Hey, Captain Raph. What's up, fellas? He says. Thank you. Breezy says, I'm always up for a Casey O'Neill fight. We'll move on from that very quickly. I'm not going to ask him why. Not going to ask him why. Okay. All right. Now, let's get into the predictions period of the show then, guys. Now, how this works for Leo, who's mainly not been on one of these shows yet, making his fan discussion debut. I'm going to count down from 3, and I want those people siding with Dricus du Plessis to put their right arm up in the air, and for those who are siding with Israel Adesanya to put their left arm up in the air. And then I've got some follow-ups for you guys, okay?
I've just realised real quick, the cameras are mirrored, so I feel like we're going to have to put the opposite.
Yeah, I have to keep looking.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. We will.
I feel like I had to mention that before we did
it. I know. I mean, I did purposely do that so it. Yeah, that's the reason why I've kind of done it, so that red corner will be this hand, blue corner will be this hand. Does that make sense?
Okay. All right, got you. Yeah, got you.
All right. Okay. Cool. Are you ready, guys? 3, 2, 1, shoot.
I think I'm on the right side.
Same.
So I've got
50.
Ooh, 50-50. So we got Red Wolf and T going for Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
And myself and Leo are going with Dricus. Oh,
Absolutely.
Okay. That's pretty intriguing then.
I'm still torn on this fight, but yeah, I've been riding with Dricus. I can't rule that man out. Ever since the Whitaker fight, I said some unholy things about that man on the podcast before he fought Robert Whitaker. And I regretted all of the things I said because he proved me wrong massively. And I'll never make that mistake again. I think he's going to just drown him. I think the pace is going to be too much. I think he'll put on that forward pressure in the same way Strickland did, but with a grappling focused approach. And I think he'll just take over. Rounds 4 and 5, I think we'll really see that sort of come to light. And yeah, I think he'll just out grapple him. Maybe a submission late or probably a decision. I think it's the more realistic expectation.
Yeah, I've kind of got my reasons for picking Dricus just purely, I mean, similar way, really. I've counted him out all this time, and I feel like if I pick Dricus this time, then maybe Izzy will win. I mean, it's not because I want Izzy to win. I actually don't care who wins in this fight.
Same.
I'm just like, yeah, all right. Part of me's got a feeling that Dricus will do it, but I don't know. We'll see. But then my question is for Leo then. Because you've sided with Dricus, does a win over Israel Adesanya cement himself as one of the best middleweights of all time? Or does he still have some work to do, even though he's secured a win against one of the most decorated middleweights of all time?
No. I mean, he's in the conversation, but I mean, when you're comparing it, Adesanya's a 2-time champion for one, and it's 5 title defenses, I believe. It's 4 or 5, and obviously he didn't win the light heavyweight belt, but he challenged for it. And then of course you've got Anderson Silva in the conversation, who is miles clear of everybody else. So no, I mean, you could argue maybe he's in the top 3, but I'm sure someone could call out a name that would probably dispute that. But yeah, no, he's not in the GOAT conversations of the division. Absolutely not. Okay. Work to do.
For those who have sided with Izzy, then just going off of what Leo is saying, is there anything you guys want to add to that in terms of, if Dricus was to pull the victory off?
Okay, so
I mean,
I'll be honest. Oh, sorry, you go, Red Wolf. You go.
No, Taylor, go on. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say quickly that when it comes down to it, I personally, I'm voting for Dricus with my heart, but my wallet is with Izzy, if you get what I mean. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I do think everything that Leo mentioned could absolutely occur. You know what I mean? In the way he mentioned it, and I would love to see it. But when it comes down to it, he has fought in Robert Whitaker twice. He's fought in Yoel Romero. And to be honest, Whitaker, I'm not saying that he's absolutely better than du Plessis is, but I don't know, man. He was able to overcome him in those 2 matchups, especially in the second one where he had to deal with the wrestling. He had to deal with the mix-up of, actually an MMA fight instead of other people going and just kind of kickboxing with him. So when it comes down to it, statistically on paper, and MMA math isn't worth crap, but, that's why I tended to go with him. About 51% of fans think Israel will win. 49% think Dricus will win. So it's dead even.
Imagine
close.
Saying that 2 years ago. Bloody hell.
No.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to echo on that, Red Wolf, in terms of your opinion on it?
Not much. I mean, like what Leo said, I've counted Dricus out a lot. I counted him out against Whitaker, counted him out against, who else was it?
Till?
Sean.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Till,
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
How did you guess that?
Well, I don't know. It's just one of his recent fights.
Yeah.
Till had him in trouble, though, didn't he?
And he surprises me every time. I mean, you could argue that the Strickland fight, he might have lost. That is a controversial decision, I think. But again, with Izzy, I feel like this could be a new breed of Izzy. Like, he's hungry again. Everyone talks about contender Izzy, and it feels like he could be coming back. He's got a lot of fire in him, but I'm not. And this time, I'm not writing Dricus out, but I'm slightly favouring Izzy with this one.
Okay.
Have you guys seen his physical appearance? Not to add in, I think it might be indeed a little bit of a comeback. He looks pretty fueled up. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys should take a look. There's some speculation on his recent.
I've seen the speculation.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything, but I just thought I'd bring that up.
We're
Stir the pot.
post USADA now, aren't we? So, you know.
It's true.
Hey, we'll of course be the judge of that maybe come this weekend. All right, for Red Wolf and T then, in terms of picking Adesanya, now does a win for Adesanya set him up with an MMA trilogy fight at light heavyweight with Alex Pereira? If not, what else is left for Adesanya when you look at kind of the where he's at in his career at the moment? He's kind of been there and done it all. What is left? So we'll start with Red Wolf then. Do you think the trilogy with Pereira is there next after him?
I think that's probably what they're hoping for. I think Uncle Dana is kind of hoping for an easy win to set that trilogy up. And it's because, again, it pound signs, dollar signs. Possibly that could be something that they're looking into. But again, like you say, it's another rematch, isn't it? And I think even if Izzy does stay in middleweight, nearly everyone that he's going to get is going to be a rematch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've got Strickland, you've got Whitaker. The only one that I think might, happen is if Hamzat beats Whitaker and gets the title shot. You could see Adesanya versus Hamzat. So it's interesting. I think this is going to be a big what if, and like, depending on the result of this will depend on a lot of things going forward. But I think if he wins, they will definitely look at a trilogy for Adesanya there, going up to light heavyweight. And what a story that would be.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Dana there, and I think, to be honest, Hunter Campbell, I think, is the mastermind and a bit of the snake behind future matchups and trying to set up future matchups. I think the way that Dana kind of deflects the question is quite strategic, because he's like, well, look, it's up to these guys to go out there and prove that they're the best in the world, and that's kind of like the ultimate deflection choice. But it's not really a question, I think, that is suited for him. I think it's Hunter Campbell who's putting these future, or trying to look ahead of the game in terms of depending on outcomes. T, what do you think then? Do you think it'll be a trilogy between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira at light heavyweight?
I agree with Red Wolf in every single facet when he talks about that's what the UFC would like to see, I think. And I believe I spoke with you briefly when I said I believe that if Dricus wins, he will not have that option. Like, I believe, the UFC in terms of current star power when it comes to actually big guys, they've openly admitted themselves that it's a bit of a dry spell. So I think they'll be looking to protect Pereira in that aspect, not in terms of like they don't think he can win. I just think, they'll be like, no, you can become a star of your own. I don't think they think that Dricus is at the level he needs to be, whereas Izzy is kind of a huge star that's just trying to regain a bit of his fame, regain that stature, get back in the place that he used to be. So I think that the UFC, for having those two fight, Pereira and Izzy, it's a win-win no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter who loses. And, for the UFC, at least when it comes to losing against high-profile people, they've showed that, Pereira, he didn't really suffer any setbacks in his popularity or his career from losing to Adesanya in the rematch. I don't know. I think there's a lot of opportunities for Adesanya, I guess. If he chooses to stick around and fight and doesn't really care about fighting for the title or whatever, I don't know. I think, man, bring Artem Vahitov in. Bring those guys in. Sign them for one-fight contracts. Simon Marcus, Jason Wilness. Jason Wilness has beat Alex Pereira twice in kickboxing. I'm just saying there's matchups for him and for Izzy, I think, with all those guys.
Yeah, I think, when you look at it, there is a reason for sidelining Pereira and not giving him the likes of a Magomed Ankalaev for a potential setup in the future. And, it is a win-win for the UFC in a lot of ways, because, if Dricus wins, his stock's just gonna rise because he just beat one of the most decorated middleweights of all time. They can then go on to do these shows in South Africa if they are looking at it, where he defends his belt there and build him up as a star, as you said. And whereas on the other hand, you've got if Izzy was to be victorious, then there is a lot of avenues they're opening up as well, I guess, if you do consider bringing in those kickboxers. Leo, is there anything that you want to kind of add to this then, if Israel picks up the win?
I mean, I think the only can of worms I really open there is if he does win. There's always that forever debate of whether he's had a better legacy than Anderson Silva when all is said and done.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be the guy to necessarily say yes, but it definitely poses the question and gives it a little bit more validity. So who knows? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. Because I think the level of competition Adesanya's faced, it's pretty impressive when you look at his resume. So
True. And those hardcore fans who kind of joined in at the sport around the year 2008 or even sooner than that, and saw Anderson Silva in his prime, will always stick to Anderson Silva being the best middleweight of all time. And I think that's
what you're shaking your head. That's what you're shaking your head. Listen, I never said it was true. I never said it was true.
I'm one of them old ones, and I will always say Anderson Silva was the greatest middleweight of all time. Like, Izzy's still got a few.
Yeah, I think most people. Yeah, I'm with you there.
There was an aura.
Check out Stat Post Tuesday, everyone. We'll settle this once and for all.
There you go. Stat Post on the ATF channel. Yep.
Yeah, check out the Stat Post on Tuesday.
Good plug.
Yeah. Breezy says, but Whittaker is going to be champ again. Watch this space. So Whittaker fan in Breezy is still very hopeful at the moment.
I'm riding with you, Breezy.
Yes. Mr. Nice Guy MMA says, what's up, guys? And announce who's on the screen. X handles preferable. Sup, Red Wolf. Yeah, no, it would have been wise. Sadly, I guess maybe you'll need to look into some Zoom settings. We're going to be setting, this is quite a new show that we're doing at the moment. We're going to be looking for new ways of running it in the future, so don't worry. Yeah, we will be putting some X handles up there for sure. Ash says, yeah, definitely Izzy versus Alex 3 happens if Izzy wins, and he's also siding with Anderson Silva being the best middleweight of all time. So yeah, but I mean, the other thing to add to that would be the fact that the UFC could be saving Pereira for potential heavyweight fill-in fight should one fall apart with Tom Aspinall.
But hasn't I was about to say,
Dana White
confirmed that Tom Aspinall will be the backup fighter for Jones versus.
Dana has confirmed.
That's what Dana said. Yeah.
I was thinking about this, by the way. I was talking about this with a couple of people. I was like, do you think Jones would take the fight if Stipe pulls out injured on fight week?
No.
That's the thing. I don't think so.
Do you think John pulls out the event on fight week? Do you think he doesn't fight Tom? I feel like his ego would force him to. That's the only chance he would fight Tom is if Stipe gets injured in fight week. That's it.
Because he's pulled out of shows before. They something like this happened in the past. UFC.
Yeah.
It was
151.
Because 151. Yes, or was it one? Yeah, I can't remember.
I believe so. I did it. Yeah, I touched on it in one of my videos a while ago. I'm pretty sure it was 151. I hope I'm right there.
He did the exact same thing, and he had no problem doing it back then. It's about his legacy. If he thinks that he will lose, I think if he has confidence in his mind that he can beat Tom, actually, then I think he'll just proceed with it. But I don't know, man. If he thinks he's going to lose, I think he'll stride off into the sunset. I think he'll just be like, yeah, not
it's different though, isn't it? Because this was like, regarded as one of the last fights in his career. So I feel like the stakes are different. If he ducks a guy, to preserve his undefeated legacy, that's going to follow him forever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if his ego would let him do that.
I hope you're right.
Because I think he can beat Stipe and retire, and he'll be able to do that. He'll say, right, I retire on a win. I'm the greatest ever. He'll do that. As much as we want him to fight Tom, that's, as I say, the only way he'd actually fight him is if we get an injury in fight week.
That is what he plans on doing. And I thought about, just to say quick, how much power Stipe actually has personally in this, in this situation. Just for him to be like, fight week, John makes a rude tweet. He's like, you know what? Oh, my knee. Oh, no. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, I'm retiring. My knee blew out. I'm done. Have fun fighting Tom.
No, they all like that.
You got to sound very quiet about this. I've got a lot of. I think everyone here knows what I think about the whole John Jones, Tom Aspinall situation. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think we're pretty much all in agreement. I don't know anyone else that disagrees that Aspinall absolutely whoops him. I've been saying. I mean, everybody's been saying it now.
I'm pretty
especially after last time.
Agreed.
Appreciate that, boys.
All right. Yeah. Awesome stuff, guys. All right, lovely stuff, lovely opinions, and a great conversation. Kind of going into another topic entirely, really, just the whole Tom Aspinall situation. Now, then, this next round is a yes/no round, similar to before, where I'm going to want some people who raise their hands for yes and no. Right hand will be for yes. Yeah. And left hand will be for no. So I've got a couple of questions. We'll try not to go into detail too much following up, but it's interesting to see who sides with what. So the first one is, if Dricus picks up the win in dominating fashion, does he rematch Sean Strickland next? Yes or no?
I'm grimacing. I don't want that to be true, but it's gonna
Are we
be. That's
in
what's gonna
agreement?
happen. Yeah. I don't want that fight, but yeah.
Okay.
I think he should. But I don't think
no,
he
I don't
will.
think he should. I don't think. No, I think he will. I don't think he should.
Oh. that's interesting.
Who wants to see that fight? I'm sorry, I don't. I think Strickland should have fought Whittaker. Obviously, I know he's booked up with Chimaev now, but that's what I was firmly believing in. Just do a title eliminator. They both beaten Costa. Whittaker's coming off a 2-win streak. Strickland off a 1. Make them fight each other. Easy title eliminator, and then you've got someone to challenge. Simple, but we can't have it easy, apparently. So I don't know, but I hope he doesn't fight Strickland again. I don't really want to see that fight again. I can't really be bothered with another Strickland fight build up. It's just too, it's just too much going on.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, to be fair, I will say it was a fun fight. 297 was a fun fight, but I don't know, not one I really want to see again.
Okay. Yeah, I do feel at the time there was just a lot of back and forth over who won, and time over the course of time we.
Who did you have winning?
At first, coming off of it, I thought that Strickland had won, but I've not yet given it a second watch, and obviously I will this week. So
yeah, I'm giving it a rewatch this week, but first time watching, I leant towards Strickland.
Oh, really? Am I on my own here?
I was there. I was there live in the crowd, and the crowd thought Strickland. We booed when Du Plessis was announced as the winner. Like, everyone was like, I don't know if they muted it for the live show, but you should have heard.
It's a lot quieter. It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, ooh, that's horse shit. I just feel like. Yeah.
I personally had Dricus, but I'll die on that hill if I'm by myself there. I'm happy to defend that opinion.
He made it very competitive, and he got tons of takedowns. He had certain amounts of control time. And really, when it comes down to it, it's all about how the judges look at those types of things during that fight, right? If I remember, Strickland landed a bit more significant strikes, had a lot more aggression when it came to I know it sounds weird. It was actually kind of, Dricus had his points where he was actually stalking Strickland, but Strickland actually was pushing forward at points as well. So, yeah, it's hard. It's a hard fight to look at. And, as it says, it warrants a rewatch.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Okay. Now the next one. Will Israel Adesanya retire after this fight? Yes or no?
Which one's no? Is that no?
No is left hand.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Well, unanimous no there. Oh, I thought I'd throw it out there anyway.
I had to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if he loses, then it's what is next for him. So especially if you're siding with Dricus, you see. So yeah, there's a lot to go into that. But
I wonder, even if he does lose, would you still try and make the Piera trilogy? But as a contending.
I know there's some weight to it still because, you obviously got the last win against him, but
yeah.
I think he needs to come into that fight with a win.
As a winner, with a belt as well, which makes it even more interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, okay. Next one then. Siding off from the main event, Kai France will gain a title fight with a win against Steve Erceg. Yes or no? Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, he just beat the previous title challenger. He's kind of he's not fought Pantoja.
Figueiredo isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
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 Steve Osak's the second best in the division, or arguably the best. Depends on how you scored that last fight. But so if you get a win over him, you fight for the belt. Simple.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I like that. Like that. Obviously, flyweights quite shallow in a way. Now, this one's a fun one. Jairzinho Rozenstruik KOs Taito Avasa and goes on a crazy run towards title contention. Yes or no?
I'll agree with the first part. Second bit, I don't know about that one.
Let's do it.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm with you. Let's go.
Let's
Wow.
go.
Biggie boy.
Taito Ivasa KOs Rozenstruik and goes on a title run. What about that one?
Oh, no.
He's already done it.
He's done. He's done.
I'll be honest with you. If I remember correctly, he actually was released from the UFC prior. This is like his second UFC run, if I remember correctly, tied to Ivasa. So.
He did have a bad run.
Yeah,
at
it
the
is.
start.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's really got to turn it around. And I do believe, I'll agree with you on that, Red Wolf. Like, I think we will see that in there. We'll see a fighter who is fighting like his career is at stake. You know, he's a young man. I'm sure he wants to stay here. I'm sure he doesn't want to go elsewhere. So I think we'll see that. And it's hard to deal with that, man. You know what I mean?
Man, the fact that a few years ago, we nearly had Taito Ivasa as the interim champ when he fought Gan. Do you remember that? Like, what happened? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We nearly had Jones versus Ty.
Yep. When you look at that, it's kind of crazy.
Remember when people were entertaining Johnny Walker versus John Jones?
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a dark time.
Johnny Walker was the next best thing, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
Then he fought Corey Anderson. Yeah, that did not go well.
Nope.
No.
Went downhill from there. All right, last one then. The UFC will announce Jones versus Miocic during the broadcast. Yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
say
saw
no,
rumors
yeah.
about it today for 309.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go, yeah.
It's going to be 309. Red Wolf, what are you thinking?
I don't think they'll announce it yet. I think they might announce it during the Sphere.
Okay, I
Ooh.
see.
That's a good shout.
You know,
It's not bad. September Sphere.
Yeah,
big package, big trailer.
Yeah, I see that.
know, try and make it as
crazy there. It would be like just to see it on that crazy screen, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're going to promo it to high heaven. I mean, Dana's already promoting it like it's the biggest fight that's ever happened. So
Blazing, bro.
he'll do some at 30. Is the Sphere 308 or 307?
307, I believe.
307.
No, 306.
306.
306.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So I think it's the next one then. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair shout, actually.
We've not got a main event for 307 yet, but of course we already know 308 is going to be Tapura versus Holloway, and
I have heard rumors of Juliana Pena at 307.
Yeah, I've heard
that is rumored to be
Potentially
fighting,
main eventing.
Surely
Not
she's not main event. No way.
Yeah, it might be. Listen, I had to sit through Nunes versus Spencer. I don't
So,
want to do
yeah.
that again, but
All
they
right.
could do it. Don't rule it out.
To be fair,
Remember that
we
one?
have
Jesus.
Yeah, we've had some, but that was I guess all right. We had the Nunes versus Spencer, didn't we? And that was Nunes was kind of the.
I love that fight. I'm Canadian. I was like,
It was actually a decent fight, to be fair. I do
the
remember
fact
it
that
wasn't
she
that
survived, I'm like, if she makes
Yeah.
it to the final bell, it's a huge victory for our country.
bad.
Oh, awesome stuff, guys! You've been absolutely amazing panelists thus far overall. So thank you for tuning in on this fan discussion for all things UFC 305. Make sure you guys tune in Wednesday night. There'll be a breakdown show for this fight where we don't just tell you how to think, whatever the line that Sai says.
Tell you what to think.
Tell you what to think. Show you how to think. That's the one. So
Smart.
yeah, make sure you've got the notifications bell rang on our channels, and of course you can search for Leo Cooper on YouTube and Instagram as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then, of
that's
course,
the place to message me.
yeah, that's probably
That's
it. And then you've got Red Wolf MMA on Twitter.
Yeah, and Red Wolf MMA 1 on Instagram. Someone
you go.
already had it. That was
And we've also got Canadian Bacon on Twitter as well. That's correct. There you go. Yeah. So make sure you check those guys out. Give them a follow. Peace out, guys. Much love. And we will see you on the next video. Ciao for now. Much love. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers.